Good morning. It is Sunday in San Francisco. I have just finished my kind of Sunday chores for my plants on my orchid table. And I just took some paper towels, put some hydrogen peroxide, and wiped the terracotta pots. I don't like it when the green stuff starts growing. I don't know why it grows or where it comes from, but it just starts growing eventually when it's kind of humid, and they really like these terracotta pots. So I just wipe them and they just go away. So these pots aren't even new. These are probably 1 to 2 years old, and they're relatively uniform in color and clean. The older pots, like the one in my Tamakongo, they are harder to clean. I don't know if it's because the terracotta has degraded over time or become more porous and it's just hard to reach the inside. Maybe it's mold, I don't know. But that's fine. I do take pride in keeping my pots all pretty much the same color and clean and everything like that. So that's what I did. And today's kind of a Sunday chat video. Um, my friend told me, or rather, she asked me, why do I like orchids? She just thinks that she just waits for it to grow a flower and all that stuff. So I wanted to go over some stuff that I do with my plants that is outside of what non-plant or non-orchid folks think about. So the first thing is the maintenance of the plants themselves, which is even the pot I have to maintain. The second thing is watching for growth. So it is in the growing season right now in San Francisco because it's kind of warmer. It's July, and it's quite exciting because now you see all these spikes growing on some of your plants that do spike when it's warm. You see new roots starting to grow or become active. I'm trying to find a root here. So the velamin, which is the celery stuff, at the tip there, the green is new growth. So that means your plant is awake, and I mean it's always awake because it's not dead, right? But it's growing new root, what do you call those, cells? I don't know. Next one is the plants that are difficult to bloom, which is not that one, but this one. This is my, damn, I can't remember the name in Japanese, but it's the one that translates to like shiny leaf. I bought this one because I thought it just looked really nice and the leaves are really shiny because, excuse me, they're slightly upturned. So it catches the light. And it's a bean leaf, which I mostly collect. I don't really like needle leaf, Neophonetia. But then I saw that it had a spike. And I didn't think it was possible for this particular plant because some of the neos don't actually bloom all that often for some varieties. But right there you can see that it does have 3 to 4 buds forming. And then you have your more difficult orchids like my Dendrobium moniliforme. This one is easy because it's my Kyobeni and it just like blooms on its own and doesn't blast the buds. My most difficult one is actually this freaking this one. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's the inconsistent temperature of San Francisco because, you know, one day it's like 60 degrees Fahrenheit and then the next day it's 75. It grew all these buds, but then they kind of turn brown and you can't tell if they're dead or not. I had a bud form from one of these dead looking buds, but it just did it really slowly. And I'm not going to mess with these. I'm just going to maintain the watering schedule when the moss is nearly dry in growing season because you just never know if they're going to bud or not. I don't know. They could be dead, but this plant has grown relatively well in my house. I mean, it's got a lot of canes. And people seem to like this because it's yellow caned. And personally, I mean, I don't really care about it. But I will continue to keep it alive because it's been with me for a while. Maybe just like 2 years, actually. But the Kyobeni, my reliable Dendrobium, it tends to bloom twice a year. So it has a second flush coming. You can see right there, there's a bud right there. So there's difficult plants that I try to figure out or understand Growing plants requires a lot of observation, trial and error, and just kind of learning as you go from other people. Sometimes other people's experience is not yours because environment's different, your culture is different in terms of the substrate and your temperature and stuff. We have our new friends here. Maybe I need to do a separate video, but these are my new ear plants. I had the big one on the left for about 2 to 3 years, maybe 4. It didn't really grow a lot because I didn't realize it needed a lot of light. So I have them on an east window. Sometimes it gets a little bit too bright for them because I just think it's a little too direct in terms of light, but they are changing color, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of them are preparing to bloom. So maybe I'll do a different video for those. And then we have a new friend, which probably should make another video for this. This is my Pachypodium by Spinosum. It is a caudex or succulent. I don't know what it is. I like the structural kind of plants, and they grow really slowly, but they do bloom. And as an orchid grower, I prefer plants that have some changes over time and they're just not growing leaves 24/7. This one is my only warm growing novelty Phalaenopsis. Thought it was dead a few times, almost threw it in the trash, but it got really warm. Then I put it on the windowsill and gave it more fertilizer, and it has 2 spikes. So I guess don't give up on your plants. They are more hardy than you think. My Orchid graminifolia is still alive. It's not dead. It's just going into dormancy towards summer. So the flowers have all brown. The leaves are still there, which means I'm assuming this is when it's forming the rhizomes or the corms, rather, underneath the moss. So I don't disturb it. I just continue to water it, but I don't keep it soaking wet or anything. And then we have I named this Theodore because it is called the teddy bear ear plant. I just have it on some wire, and it is a round ball. Make another video on that. And then lastly, we have, I think I derailed the topic of my video, but it's fine. These are cosmos I have planted, so we'll see in about a week or 2 if they sprout. So, keeping plants keeps you quite busy, especially when you have as many as I do. But they're different, they're all interesting, and I love the hobby. So see you guys next time.